You know, our planet is absolutely buzzing with life. Millions and millions of different living things, from the tiniest bacteria to the biggest blue whale. But have you ever stopped to wonder, how on earth do scientists keep track of it all? Well, today we're going to unlock the secret filing system of life itself. Let's dive right in. I mean, think about it. If we just had one giant, messy list of every plant, animal, and fungus, it would be total chaos. How could we ever study their relationships or figure out how life evolved? It would be impossible. Well, thankfully, scientists came up with a pretty brilliant system for this, and it's called the taxonomic hierarchy. I know, it sounds a little complicated, but it's actually a super logical way to sort every living thing into nested groups. You start with a really broad group, and then you get more and more specific. Each one of these levels or groups is called a taxon. Okay, probably the easiest way to get this is with a simple analogy. Just imagine you're sending a letter to a single organism somewhere on Earth. You wouldn't just write its name, right? You'd start with the country, then maybe the state or province, the city, the street, and finally, the exact house number. This is exactly how taxonomy works. So let's take a look at the main levels of this biological address. There are 7 of them, and we're going to take a little journey down through each one, from the most general all the way to the most specific. And hey, we'll even figure out our own biological address along the way. So we start at the very top with kingdom. This is the biggest, broadest category, kind of like the country in our address. It splits all of life into major groups based on really fundamental stuff. For example, are you a plant that makes its own food? Or are you an animal that has to eat other things to survive? For us humans, this one's pretty easy. We definitely can't make our own food from sunlight. And we can move around. So we belong to the kingdom Animalia. We're animals. Simple as that. Okay, one step down from kingdom, we get to phylum. Now this level takes all the organisms in a kingdom and starts sorting them based on their basic body plan. So, for example, in the animal kingdom, there's this huge group that all share one very important feature, a backbone, or at least the structure that develops into one. And guess what? We have one. So our address gets a little more specific. We are in the phylum Chordata. This group includes all the fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. See, we're already narrowing it down. From phylum, we narrow it down even further to the next level, class. So within that big Chordata group, we can make smaller groups. One of these groups is full of animals that all have hair or fur, and they feed their young with milk from mammary glands. Does that sound familiar? Of course it does. That's us. We belong to the class Mammalia. So going back to our address analogy, we've just found our street name. We share this street with everything from mice to elephants to giant blue whales. Now, inside the class Mammalia, the groupings get even more familiar at the level of order. Within our class, we can find smaller groups that share even more specific traits. For instance, one particular order is known for having pretty large brains, eyes that face forward, and hands that can grasp things. Yup, this is our neighborhood. We belong to the order primates, right along with monkeys and apes. The similarities are getting much, much stronger now, aren't they? And you're probably noticing the pattern here, right? As we go down, the groups get smaller and the members inside them are much more closely related. The family level is next, and this groups together organisms from an order that are so similar they clearly share a very recent common ancestor. For us primates, one family includes the great apes, like gorillas and chimpanzees, and, well, us. We've found our extended family. We are in the family Hominae. Our biological address is getting incredibly specific now. We're almost at our front door. Almost there. The genus is a really tight-knit group. It includes species that are extremely closely related. You can think of them like siblings in our family analogy. For us, this genus includes modern humans and our closest extinct relatives, like the Neanderthals. Our genus is Homo, and this is actually the first part of our unique scientific name. We're basically standing on the front porch now, just one more step to go. And here we are, the final level, species. This is the most specific and fundamental level of all. A species is basically defined as a group of individuals that can successfully interbreed with each other and produce fertile offspring. It's the unique identifier for an organism. And that brings us to our final one-of-a-kind address. Our species name is Sapiens. So when you put our genus and species together, you get our full scientific name, Homo sapiens. That's us.
That is our unique house number in the vast city of life. You know, this chart really puts the whole system into perspective. If we compare the address for a human, a sparrow, and an onion, you can see exactly where their paths split. So humans and sparrows are both animals with backbones, so we share the same kingdom and phylum. But then we diverge at the class level. We're mammals, they're aves, which is birds. And the onion? Well, it's in a completely different kingdom, plantae, from the very beginning. This is how taxonomy shows us not just how to organize life, but how related we are to everything else on the planet.
Now, I know that's a lot of levels to remember, so here is a really simple trick to help you keep the order straight. Just remember this sentence. Keep pots clean or family gets sick. See, the first letter of each word perfectly matches the first letter of each taxon, from kingdom all the way down to species. Pretty handy, right? So, we've journeyed through this incredible system that brings order to the beautiful chaos of life. And now that you get how it works, here's a final thought for you. You know our address, but what about another animal? Can you find the full taxonomic address for a tiger? Go on, give it a try. You might just be surprised to discover how we're all connected in the great secret order of life.